Japanese white pine, or Pinus parviflora, is one of the most popular coniferous species used for bonsai and is often considered the more feminine of the needled evergreens. Because Japanese white pines do not readily backbud, branches are usually wired to create a fuller appearance. Smaller branches from the rear and interior of the tree are layered and evenly spaced to create an overall balanced design. Whether wiring an undeveloped piece of material or one that will be displayed immediately, it's best to apply the wire as neatly as possible. For example, for branches that split in this manner, wrapping the wire from the rear will help in creating a clean look. When wiring, one should always think 2 steps ahead. Consistently applying the wire either just before or past secondary and tertiary branches will guarantee clean, uncrossed wiring. When placing branches, buds should be positioned evenly to avoid making any areas appear heavier than others. Branch tips should also be set so that the undersides of the branches aren't overly visible, meaning don't flip them up too much. The wire application for Shinpaku junipers is identical to that of white pines. However, because Shinpaku readily backbud, branch placement will depend on the immediate or long-term goals with each specific juniper. If the goal is to promote adventitious growth, one should wire the branches into flat, hand-shaped pads. If the tree is to be displayed in the near future, however, approach branch placement in the same manner as white pines, creating pads that appear fuller by layering smaller inner and rear branches. Both black and red pines tend to readily backbud and should be wired to promote adventitious growth, meaning pads should be fanned out to allow for maximum light and air penetration. Before wiring, unnecessary buds should be removed, cutting back to 2 lateral buds, and the previous year's needles should be removed. To avoid bending and snapping needles, be sure to insert your hands from beneath the branches and work from the inside of the tree outward, towards the branch tips. While we apply candle, bud, and needle removal techniques to balance energy and produce even length needles, we will still inevitably need to cut a few clusters here and there to create a clean design. Use sharp scissors and immediately spray with water after cutting to prevent brown tips.
桜の目摘みしましょう。これ春から出て今4月の終わりぐらいこれぐらいになってて、いっぱい外が葉っぱ出て木を覆ってしまってるやろ。ずっと影やったらすごい弱ってんのよ。これ弱し影になってるから。だから目摘みして外側のこういう強い枝をだいたいまあ 2,3 枚やね。こうやったらここやね。ここでカットしていくね。ほんでよく見てもらったら分かるけど、これは額で芽がない。こういう葉っぱ邪魔になるからこれいらない。ほんでまあこれなんかほら上に強いやろ、立ち芽。こういうのができたらもう使いたくないよね。こういう風にしてる。でこうやって伸びてないのはもう切らなくてもいいわ。強い伸びたのを止めていって、弱いとこへ力をやって、外側の強いのを少し力を抑えて中に力やる。それで桜っていうのは目摘みしただけやと葉っぱが大きいでしょ。だから目摘みしただけやったらまだ影になる。だからこの葉っぱを少しちっちゃくやる。こういう感じ。外側のこうやって持ってやると1回で切れるわ。こういう風に目摘みしながら大きい葉っぱをカットしていく。そしたら中に光がよく入って 中の芽が元気になってる。このままあと1ヶ月ぐらい何もしなかったら、こういう中の芽は蒸れて葉っぱ黄色くなって落ちたらもうその枝は枯れてしまうからね。もう大体もう限界ぐらいになってるから、もうカットしてこういう中のこういう芽に光を入れて元気にして、そうしたらどういうの、中も元気になるし外も強いのを少し弱くして中も外も同じような力にして作っていく。
On the list of frequently asked questions, the subject of watering bonsai is perhaps the most common and important of all. Watering is a very difficult skill to master and an even more difficult technique to teach. Before we begin, please keep in mind that the frequency of watering will vary from climate to climate and day to day, and is dependent on the soil medium one uses. Here at Kokan, we use a highly free-draining mix of akadama, pumice, and lava rock in various ratios depending on species. The techniques discussed here are a general guideline to watering bonsai, but caution should be taken to adjust your own approach accordingly. Each species is different, each individual tree is different, and the weather from day to day is different, which makes proper watering very difficult to learn. In order to water properly, one has to be willing to adjust on a daily basis. For most people who work full-time, though, this is rather difficult. We often tell clients to water their personal collections fully each morning during the growing season, and spot check in the evening, watering dry trees again as needed. Here at Kokan, though, we keep a watchful eye on the bonsai at all times and check water on a much more frequent basis. Now that summer's getting ready to start and the temperatures are beginning to heat up here at the nursery, we have to be more aware of and sensitive to the changes in our watering practices. So the trees at this point, they've fully leafed out, the leaves have hardened off, so they're taking up a little bit less water than they were in the early spring. We have to make sure that we're watching each tree individually to ensure that the trees aren't drying out too much and that they're also not getting too much water either. Here at Kokan, we check the trees about 4 times every day once the summer season rolls around. So we come in early in the morning, usually around 8:30, 9 o'clock. We'll walk around the nursery with the watering can, we'll spot check, and we'll water the driest trees in the nursery. Then we'll come back around 10:30 or so. Water pretty much every tree in the nursery at that point, with the exception of trees that are very, very, very wet. After lunch, we'll check one more time with the watering can, spot checking trees that are very dry. And again, later in the afternoon, usually around 3:30, 4 o'clock, we'll check one more time with the hose and heavily water any trees that are in need.
Here in Kokan we have a setup which consists on several hoses along different aisles. The way we do it is we follow a path on each aisle, always watering the trees on our left. And we use this device and just attach it to the hose. Also, the pressure is very important. If it is too little, we will take a long time to water. If it is too strong, it will wash the soil out of the pots.
Adjust the pressure and make sure to let the hottest water escape from the hose before watering your bonsai. When watering, hold the nozzle firmly, but allow your wrist to be loose enough to fluidly water the whole soil surface smoothly and evenly, aiming for the base of the trunk and trying to keep as much water flowing into the pot as possible. Be sure to water all of the soil surface, front, back, and all sides. For trees with surface soil that is loose, pull the nozzle back and try to keep the soil from washing away. It is certainly okay to go back and forth between trees several times to make sure they are each thoroughly watered.